So it's finally time to hire a great creative strategist. You finally understand how important this role can be within your team and how many hours you would save every single week. You went through a bunch of candidates, you went through a bunch of practical assessment, you shortlisted the best candidates, and now you know who's the right one, who you want to hire. But there's a problem. It's time to give them the right offer. And ever since we launched creativestrategist.com, this is basically the most frequent question I get asked. How do I structure the offer for my creative strategist? What is the best compensation structure for such a position? How can I make sure that this person stays committed and happy while I'm also making sure that I'm not wasting my money? So in this video, I'll show you how we structure the salaries for the creative strategists we work with and we hire for our clients. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, here's my iPad. And pretty much this is what you want to see in your offer. You want to see a base salary, you want to see a quarterly performance bonus, and you want to give them the total OTE, on target earnings. Now, a few things you kind of want to make sure you understand before you send your offer. The first thing is that the performance bonus is a weapon in your arsenal to incentivize the behavior you want to see from your creative strategist. And this is kind of a tricky part of the offer because I can tell you how many e-com owners I talked to that pretty much burned their creative strategist because they did one of the biggest problems. They gave them an uncapped percentage bonus. So you create your ads and you'll get a percentage of what those ads are gonna generate in revenue. That percentage, usually it's up to 1%. Some agencies charge up to 5% of the ad spend. So it really depends. One of the most beautiful things, in my opinion, of putting together an offer is that there's basically no limit. You can be as wild as you want with your fantasy simply because there's not really a structured option that you need to follow. It's something that you put together based on what you want to see from your creative strategist. But one of the most common mistakes I see is creating bonuses that are based on uncapped percentages. I would avoid percentages altogether, and I'll show you how in a second. But basically, the goal is to agree on a bonus pool and tie it to the metrics that you want to improve in your business. Now, let me give you an example. Again, let's go back to the base salary, quarterly performance bonus, and total OTE. Let's say that the base salary is $3,000 per month. Then the quarterly performance bonus, in this case, I'm saying quarterly, but I wrote here $2,000 per month. So this is the monthly performance bonus. And this means that the total OTE per month is going to be $5,000. So $3,000 plus $2,000. And this is given that the creative strategist matches all of the bonuses for that month. Now, the performance bonus is something that, again, you can structure as you want, but there are three main metrics that I see the most when it comes to creative strategists that get hired by our clients or by ourselves. The first one is the innovation rate. It's very common in the e-commerce space to hear people that are basically complain about their ads being always the same. So there's no innovation. I cannot find a way to incentivize my creative strategists to put together new ads. They focus exclusively on what used to be the main winner and they just create variations of that. If you want to fix this problem, this is the type of bonus that you want to put in the compensation structure for your creative strategist. So you want to make sure that this bonus is tied to the number of new angles and concepts that are tested every single month. Then the second one, and this is probably the most common, is the spend impact. So rather than focus on the revenue generated, let's focus on the ad spend impact. And this is easily measured by the ad spend uplift. So we have a baseline of the ad spend, and we just want to look at the end of the month how much we spent and how much more we spent compared to the previous month. And this is basically how we look at it. And then the third one is the failure rate. And this is, in my opinion, one that gets underestimated quite a lot. I don't know what this is. That gets underestimated quite a lot. And the reason is simple. People tend to focus on the innovation rate. But the problem is that if you want to incentivize just the innovation rate, then you have a problem with the failure rate. And you want to make sure you maintain a healthy ratio between brand new ads, but also iterations. So between the innovation rate and the failure rate. Now, personally, I would recommend focusing on 1 or 2 metrics, not more than that, simply because it becomes hard to monitor and track. And every month, at the end of the month, there's always a bit of a problem, to say the least, because it takes time to make sure that that bonus you're paying is actually due, that the creative strategist actually did their job. It's hard to do. So you want to make sure that you focus on 1 or 2 key metrics, and that's about it. That's how I like to look at it. Now, why did I write quarterly performance bonuses? Is because one thing that works very well and that I like particularly is, rather than work on a monthly base, work on a quarterly base. So all of these 3 metrics, rather than tracking and monitoring them and paying them on a monthly basis, just do it on a quarterly basis. First of all, it's easier to track and monitor. Second, it gives the creative strategist more time, a longer time window to achieve their goal, to make sure they can match their bonuses. And I really like that. And I think it's one of the best ways to do it for creative strategists. Now, let me give you an example of what this would look like in practice. So let's say we have a base salary of $3,000, like we said, a performance bonus, a monthly performance bonus of $2,000, and a total OTE of $5,000. And now we want to break down the monthly performance bonus within the metrics that we decide to go for. In this case, for this example, the 2 metrics are the spend impact and the innovation rate. Now, one thing that people tend to not consider is the fact that you can give different weights to the metrics. You can give different weights to the bonuses. So in this case, since we prioritize the spend impact over the innovation rate, the spend impact is gonna be worth $1,250 a month, whereas the innovation rate is going to be worth $750 per month. Now, another cool thing you can do that I've seen work very well is creating different tiers within the same metric. So to give you an example, let's say we're still focused on the spend impact and we have a total amount of $1,250 per month. Now, if the creative strategists increases the ad spend by 5% or less, then they get the tier 1 bonus, which in this case, it might be $250. If they increase the ad spend by anywhere between 5% and 10%, then the tier 2 bonus is, in this case, let's say $750. Let me write this so it's clear. $250. Let me make this smaller. $750. And then if they're able to increase the ad spend by more than 10%, then the bonus is going to be the full one, so $1,250. Now, here we're doing it on a monthly basis. As I said before, we can do it on a quarterly basis. I really like quarterly simply because you're going to give them more time to achieve their goal, but also the impact of that goal over a quarter is much more for you. So you kind of want to make sure that you structure your compensation offer, your salary offer, based on what you want to incentivize, but also in a way that if you're paying that, you're sure that it has already paid for itself. Again, the beauty of negotiating deals is that it's all up to you and to how creative you can be. In understanding what behavior you want to incentivize, building an offer around that is the name of the game. And this is basically what I want you to understand with this video. Now, if you are happy with your creative strategist and you need to send them an offer, this is the playbook. This is how you do it. And I truly believe this is the best way to hit the ground running, start off the right foot, and you're gonna have a great time and a great experience with your creative strategist. However, if you're looking for a creative strategist, if you have a creative strategist but you don't have a creative system and you're expecting them to build a plane and then fly it, then I got something for you. CreativeStrategist.com, this is basically our service where we recruit, onboard, and ramp up creative strategists, experienced creative strategists for our clients. We can find them based on your requirements. Doesn't matter what language you need, how many years of experience, what type of experience. We can find the perfect candidate for you. We can onboard them, and we can also ramp them up so that we can make sure that they follow our processes, that you can build as many new winning ads as possible every single month in-house, straight from your creative strategist. Now, again, if you're interested, head over to creativestrategist.com, watch the video, book a call, and I'll see you there. Now, if you like this video, subscribe, click the like button, and let me know in the comment section how you structured the offer for your creative strategist. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.